Attackers kill at least 60 people as thousands try to escape the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. Right now we know 12 American service members are among the dead after 2 explosions outside the Kabul airport.
The situation making matters worse for those working tirelessly to get Afghan allies and their families out of there safely. New at 6 tonight, Wink News reporter Michael Hudak talks with a business owner and veteran fighting to get his former interpreter to Lee County for a better life.
Every minute in Afghanistan is a matter of life or death. And in the chaos, a man trying to get his wife, daughter, and sons out of Kabul and here to Lee County.
There is a bunch of Taliban lock the gate or lock the road.
We'll call the man on the phone Frank. Somehow Frank, speaking calmly through the gunfire as if it were a passing car, got through to a man in Cape Coral.
Frank's a really good guy. He's a very simple, very humble guy.
Before Aaron Forum owned the Shoot Center in Cape Coral, he served 8 months in Afghanistan. He told me Frank, whose identity we are protecting, was his personal interpreter, a crucial member of a team that took over a strategic compound.
And I remember one time he told me we're driving around the desert at night in Afghanistan, and he said, I wish I was just like a poor farmer and I know nothing, and I could just worship my God and be with my family and just have a simple life. And that's all he really wants.
Weeks ago, Frank found Aaron on WhatsApp and begged him to help save his family's life.
That kind of hit me, and it was the word brother. And he said, brother, you're my brother, and I do this for you. Please help me. So it was a feeling of kind of just helplessness, but also a sense of urgency.
Easier said than done, especially with the chaos that's going on. Will it work? Do you think it will work?
It's a coin toss right now. I think it's a 50-50 chance. We want to get him here. We want to get him to Florida. We want to help him and his family start a new life, and maybe actually experience what the American dream is.
That American dream seemed to be dwindling when those bombs went off. I asked Aaron if he knew whether Frank and his family survived them. He told me at the time he just didn't know. But just moments ago, he texted me saying, just heard Frank is alive, but we don't know if we can get him out on military aircraft.
Wow, I really hope that they do get him out and he can have that dream of a simple life. I mean, who wouldn't want that? It's such a...
Wink News reporter Michael Hudak first brought us this exclusive story last week. The entire morning show has been gripped by it. So, Michael, where is that man this morning?
The odds were slim. The road seemed impossible, but they made it out. The Afghan man, who we will call Frank for protection, his wife and 7 kids escaped Afghanistan on one of the final military planes to leave the country. Take a look at your screen. For the first time, Frank was gracious enough to share photos of his beautiful family, his son leaning on his shoulder, his family sitting together, his kids getting ready for school, and even sleeping on his leg while waiting to escape Afghanistan. Frank and his family are currently in Kuwait. They escaped on Friday, roughly 24 hours after an I.E.D. bomb killed 13 American soldiers and at least 90 Afghans at the Kabul airport. We first introduced you to Frank, who was the personal interpreter for Aaron Forum, a Cape Coral man who served in Afghanistan as a Green Beret in the U.S. Army, and emotions were at an all-time high when Frank and his family escaped.
Yeah, he was really, really excited, and I actually was able to send the staff sergeant a link to this story, so he's able to watch the story about him and about his family from Kuwait. And his first reaction was like, wow, man, that is just amazing. That's awesome. That was his reaction.
It is going to be a long process to get Frank and his family here to Lee County, but Aaron Forum tells me that they will not rest until they get to the state of Florida. So the journey is far from over, but the American dream is one step closer. Reporting in the newsroom, Michael Hudak, Wink News, now.
What a powerful story, Michael. Thanks for sharing it.
Aaron, hello, Aaron. Thank you, brother, for your help.
We really felt lucky because he was there at that same gate the night before with his family, and he had attempted to get through the gate a couple of times. So on one hand, just really relieved that he was inside the airport when the bombs happened. So there's going to be a process to get his family to the United States. It's going to be a long process, but we're going to get him here one way or another.
Frank worked with Aaron for 8 months in Afghanistan as his personal interpreter. The last military aircraft has left Afghanistan, so they quite literally got out at the last second. And if Frank and his family tried to get through that gate one more time, they likely would have been there when the bombs went off, and they probably would not have made it. See, what was once an American dream has now officially become reality. The Afghan man who will call Frank for protection, his wife and kids, are officially in the United States. And I learned this directly from Frank himself when I woke up to an audio message from him to all of us here in Southwest Florida.
I'm so happy to announce that I'm here with my family at the United States of America. We are so happy and so excited to start our new life.
First, they made it out. And now, they've made it here.
Back in Afghanistan, the day of the collapse of the government, I've been in my office and I find out there is a bunch of Taliban with their ugly faces and long hair just walking around me. So I hid in one of my neighbor house and I've been there for like 7 or 8 days.
Getting out of the country was anything but easy. It didn't even seem likely.
It's a coin toss right now. I think it's a 50-50 chance.
The coin landed on heads. Frank and his family flew from Kabul to Kuwait to Bulgaria to New Jersey.
But right now we left behind everything. We just came here with one pair of clothes and a single pair of shoes, and that's all we have. My daughter is almost 18 and she's so excited to become the heart surgeon and to serve the America who serve us and who save our lives. So thanks for all of you. God bless America and God bless the people of America. Thanks.
Hudak has been talking to both of them, joining us now in the studio. Our viewers, our whole staff has been glued to this story, wondering, Michael, if Frank made it out. We know he now did, so where is he?
So, Lindsay, he's in Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. There's a large military base there. They're working on their paperwork. And, of course, their goal is still to get to Lee County. And I just got a text message last night, woke up to it today, saying that Florida is for sure their next stop and their next destination.
That is incredible. Okay, so let's take us back to last week, I believe. You had told us you got an update, another phone call or text message from him saying they were in Kuwait after fleeing Afghanistan. But there was a lot of stops in between that. What happened next?
It was a long journey. It was a long journey. So, Lindsay, this journey was incredible. They flew from Kabul to Kuwait.
Okay.
That journey was treacherous. They didn't know when they were going to be able to get out of Afghanistan. They got out healthily and successfully. Then they go to Sofia, Bulgaria. Sofia is the capital of Bulgaria. Then they go from there to New Jersey. There wasn't really a rhyme or reason to any one of those stops. It was just the first plane to the next stop they were trying to get to. He spoke to us about being in the Kabul airport at the same gate as the I.E.D. explosions and what the conditions were like there.
It was too difficult and tough times. We were deprived from food, from water, even from toilet for like 2-3 days. We were, just sleeping and groveling at the dirt. And there was possibility that the Taliban will find out who I am. And their religion I consider as an infidel. So it was a lot for them to kill me.
Unbelievable being able to hear his voice.
Yeah.
This is his family. You've mentioned he
Yes.
has children. How many and how are they holding up?
Oh, well, the pictures of the family is what really gets you, right? Yeah. It's so refreshing to hear some good news. So let's go through this right now. We've got the 2 oldest boys in the back there. Now they're on the left side of your screen. Omer, Hatim, they are 12 and 15. They want to be doctors and engineers. Then he's got his daughter, Aisha, who wants to be a brain surgeon.
Oh, wow.
She's almost 18. Then little Shahabuddin and Shir Mohammed. He has 2 other sons, Lindsay, that are in Egypt. They are safe and expected to join the whole family soon. He's got 6 or 7 kids. They have a full house. And this has just been such an incredible journey. And like I said, isn't it refreshing to hear some good news?
It is. And you said to me off camera, they just he wants to get here and start working.
Their American dream finally came true in Southwest Florida on the night before Thanksgiving. Tonight, the Afghan man we call Frank for protection still, his wife and 5 of his kids are thankful for a lot of things, right? Their health, their happiness, and making it out of Afghanistan alive, especially considering the fact that they were at the Kabul airport on the same night that an I.E.D. bomb killed 13 American soldiers and 60 Afghans. I can only imagine what it was like inside of that airport for you. How would you articulate your life inside of that place?
There is a bunch of Taliban shooting everywhere randomly, and they can just grab you and beat you and even shoot you. I consider myself so lucky, so fortunate to make it and to be able to come to USA.
Do you believe that this was a miracle?
Yeah, some kind of miracle.
What is Thanksgiving without family? Frank's daughter, Aisha, went from being forced to marry into the Taliban to pursuing her dream of becoming a heart surgeon.
I have got a dream and I wanted to live, and I just say to myself, I'm too young to suffer like this.
Frank's sons, Shahabuddin, Hatim, Omer, and Sher, at such a young age have seen so much. Sher, who is 9 years old, was beaten by the Taliban in the Kabul airport. How much did that hurt?
Too much.
Are you happy to be here?
Yeah.
How happy?
Too much.
Now they are safe. A process expedited by Cape Coral veteran Aaron Forum, who worked tirelessly to save their lives, something the family is grateful for, ahead of their first Thanksgiving on American soil.
So I am thankful and grateful for my friends, and also for the people of the United States of America to allow us and to come here to America and to make America our second home.
Right now, Frank and his family are safe. They are in extended stay hotel rooms in Fort Myers. And I asked one of his sons, what do you hope is on the table for your first Thanksgiving dinner? And he said, and I quote, pizza. On the Night Beat, Michael Hudak, Wink News, now.
Oh, I hope he gets some pizza tomorrow. Thank you, Michael. What a story.
Michael, Aisha wants to be a heart surgeon?
Yes, she does, Nicole. And she's told me she's going to take it one step, one new English word, and one page at a time. Afghanistan has never been the most open of nations for women, and it's closing more tightly now that U.S. troops are gone. Aisha is grateful she made it out alive, and boy, does she have a definite plan to pay it forward.
Then I just simply decided to become a doctor.
Every dream starts somewhere.
Then I underline the word, then I simply write down on a notebook.
Like most of us, Aisha traces her dream back to when she was a kid. But Aisha is not like most of us.
I didn't know how to talk in English or how to read in English or how to write down anything in English. But then my father just gave me a grade 8 science book.
Aisha was born and raised in Afghanistan, where it's tough to be a young girl, tough to be a woman. She didn't have the best resources in the classroom. So every single day, she told me she'd come home and practice her English with her dad.
Then he started with me from the first page. He learned me how to read it and learned me the method how to learn English by myself, like alone without any courses, any videos, any teachers, anything.
Now, Aisha's dream is to become a heart surgeon so she can help her dad with his heart condition.
For sure, I have some heart problem. We don't have that much health facility to go and to check what's wrong with me. So I never been in hospital.
And he really need a doctor. Then that motivates me more and more to study and be a doctor.
The question is, how does she do it? How can her high school education in Afghanistan translate to the United States? I put that question to the experts at FGCU. They told me it starts with a dream.
One day she wants to become a surgeon, a heart surgeon. She will become one. If she work hard, study hard, this is a country can make students become what they want.
We want her to see also strong women role models who have been successful. So I want her to know that when you have no money and you come from a background where people haven't done it before you, you can be that trailblazer and you can do it.
And so I asked Aisha, how do you practice your English? She tells me when she reads and comes across a word she doesn't understand, she underlines it, highlights it, and writes it down a couple of times, then looks up the definition and writes that down too. I didn't do that in high school. Then she turned to her dad and she said, do you think I will be successful? And he said, Aisha, you are already successful. Don't ever tell Aisha she can't do something.
I feel jealous, like, why? You can simply tell me I can be a doctor too. Like.
In Afghanistan, that's all she heard, that her brothers could become a doctor. But a girl?
Well, you said he's going to be a doctor, he's going to be that engineer, he's going to be blah, blah, blah. So why haven't you choose anything for me? Then I become jealous, then I become like angry. I will be a doctor before him, and I will prove myself to you that I can do it.
And after talking to Aisha, I believe her. She escaped Afghanistan with her family in the final days before U.S. troops left that nation. Her father served as an interpreter for the American military.
I'm optimist that she will make it, and like she have a good opportunity, and she has energy, and she's like eager to learn and to make a progress.
The question is, how does she integrate herself into our public schools? Her education equates to about the 12th grade in the U.S. Experts with FGCU say she can either take the GED now to get into college or enjoy a senior year of high school.
When she sees other women in these positions on our campus who are successful, who did what she's got to do, it motivates you.
Emily Liu works in international admissions at FGCU. She moved to the U.S. from China at the age of 29. She knows what Aisha is going through.
I would say that for the student from those kind of countries that come to America, American education is the best in the world.
Dr. Johnson also told me the first step is to introduce Aisha to successful women and come to see them as role models.
News at 3. Now we're hearing from 2 of his sons. Wink News reporter Michael Hudak joins us live in the studio. Michael, how are the boys liking America?
Nicole, they have hopes and dreams as ferocious as their appetite for pizza. Hatim, Omer, Shahabuddin, and Sher have seen so much, and they're just kids. And now that they're here in America, they're being exposed to a life they never believed was possible. Hand the microphone to him, and I want to go. They might not want to talk at first. How old are you?
9.
But give it time. Let them get started, and they won't stop.
In Afghanistan, who's the strong, he can do what he wants. Who cheap or anyone that weak cannot do anything. It's like forest, jungle. But here in America, everyone is equal, and that's really good, and you can do everything.
Hatim made it out of that jungle. Or better yet, the mountains of Afghanistan. They escaped just as American forces withdrew from their home country. With his 14, 10, and 9-year-old brothers, they went from Afghanistan to Kuwait to Bulgaria to New Jersey to Wisconsin to Southwest Florida, and they did it together.
We don't have clothes, we don't have opportunities to live, so we passed it, and we are lucky to come here, and it was a miracle we passed that journey.
A journey made possible thanks to a Cape Coral soldier who worked with their dad, a military interpreter. Aaron Forum refused to leave his friend and his family behind. And now that they're here, what is your favorite thing about America so far?
Pizza.
Was it difficult to leave there?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we was having a home there, and it was too much big home, and it was beautiful home.
So, I got to tell you, this is usually the point where I say for more information about Frank and his family, go to winknews.com, go to the Wink News app. You know these things, but because Frank still has family and friends in Afghanistan who live under the Taliban, we will only share their stories on air. Nicole?
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing it here, Michael. We appreciate it.
Well, Chris, Frank's 4 sons, Hatim, Omer, Shahabuddin, and Sher, have seen so much at such a young age. The youngest, Sher, at 9 years old, was beaten by the Taliban in the Kabul airport. But through the agony and through the abuse is a story of love, family, and a brotherhood bond that won't be broken. A few short months ago, he was caught up in this chaos. A little boy in a violent, violent world. I heard from somebody else that the Taliban hit you. Is that right?
Yeah.
And how much did that hurt?
Too much.
Are you happy to be here?
Yeah.
How happy?
Too much.
For Cher's dad, Frank, he hopes his son's pain is temporary, but his pain is forever.
Still, my heart hurt me when I realized how they beat him. They don't have a mercy. They're not like a human.
Frank knows all about the Taliban. He worked for the U.S. military as an interpreter. When the Americans pulled out, he and his family got out. They're now safe here in Southwest Florida. But that father and son's pain right now remains.
It's going to take a lot of healing and, some therapy, not to mention time before it heals, but that will always be part of his history.
But the best medicine is love.
What happens with a trauma is over time, if you work through it, it's always part of your history and you remember it in your head, but you don't feel the pain in your heart. You can actually talk about it without being able to relive it and feel it.
A sign of hope, progress, discovering the good in their lives now. For Cher, that starts with an acquired taste.
What is your favorite thing about America so far?
Pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah.
So we're talking pizza, like pepperoni on the pizza?
Yeah.
Pepperoni's a good choice. Safe choice, but a good choice.